Another episode of my Minecraft GAA predictions videos. So we're on the hurling now, and this is the final weekend of the group stages of the hurling league. So the results of this weekend will finalize the tables and decide who goes to the knockout stages, to the finals, that type of thing, who who is just finished for the league and who will be in the relegation danger. So with that, let's jump in. Up first, we have the Royan 3B clash between Cavan and Longford. Now, should Cavan win, it won't matter to them. They're bottom of the table. They're done. They're out of it. There's no way they can go to the semi-final or the final. Longford, on the other hand, should they win, can qualify for the semi-final because who's above? Fermanagh are above them, and they have the better score difference. So, with that, I'm going to give the advantage to Longford, and I'm going to say Longford by 4 points. I think they're going to be fighting pretty hard to make sure that they get that semi-final spot, whereas Cavan they're done for the league. So Longford to win by 4 points. Up next, we have the Royan 2A clash between Down and Kerry. Now, whichever one of these two wins, they will qualify for the final. The other will go to the semi-final. So one of these two is going straight to the final. The other is going to the semi-final. So the two of these teams have pretty much qualified. It's just a matter of which one of them has to play an extra match. So, as it stands, Kerry are top of the table. So, I think I'm going to stay with that advantage for them. And I'm going to say by 3 points. I think Kerry have really done well to come up in the rankings for the last few years. So, Kerry to win by 3 points. Okay, so our first game on Sunday. Yep, only 2 games on Saturday. So our first game on Sunday is the Royan 3B clash between Leitrim and Fermanagh. Now, should Leitrim win, they will qualify for the semi-final. Should Fermanagh win, they will qualify for the final. So Fermanagh are the safest. I think they're pretty much guaranteed the semi-final spot. But if they win, they'll go to the final. So I think the advantage is with Fermanagh here. So I think I'm going to go with Fermanagh. And I'm going to say Fermanagh by 3 points. I think they almost certainly have their spot in the final. So Fermanagh to win by 3 points. Next we have the Royan 3A clash between Tyrone and Louth. If Tyrone win, they go straight to the final. If Louth win, they will manage to avoid relegation. So Louth are in a relegation position, but if they manage to win, they can avoid it. Whereas Tyrone will definitely qualify for the final, meaning that they mostly have their spot in the semi-final. So with that, I think the advantage is with Tyrone, and I'm going to say Tyrone by 5 points. I mean, Louth are down near relegation, Tyrone are up near the final. Gotta be a big win. So Tyrone by 5 points. Up next, we have the Royan 3A clash between Roscommon and Monaghan. If Roscommon win, they can qualify for the final. If Monaghan win, they can qualify for the semi-final. So it's a pretty big one for both teams. Both teams are going to want to get that win, because the win will get them into a very good spot. So I think with Roscommon kind of being in the better position, I'm going to go with them. But I don't think it'll be by too much. I'm going to say by 2 points. I think because Monaghan have their chance to get to the semi-final at least, I think they'll put up a good fight, but I think Roscommon will edge them out in the end. So Roscommon to win by 2 points. Up next we have the Royne 3A clash between Warwickshire and Armagh. Now if Warwickshire win, they can avoid relegation. So Warwickshire or Louth will avoid relegation at the weekend. The other will be relegated. If Armagh win, they can qualify for the semi-final. So it's basically, while the matches are technically Roscommon versus Monaghan and Warwickshire versus Armagh, what it really is Armagh versus Monaghan and Warwickshire versus Louth. Because whichever one of them wins, if the other loses, this it costs it changes up the whole thing. So if Armagh win and Monaghan lose, Armagh will go to the semi-final. If Warwickshire win and Louth lose, Louth will be relegated. So it's quite a big deal. But I'm definitely leaving the advantage with Armagh in this one. I think they've been pretty consistent. So I'm going to say by 4 points. I think Warwickshire would be very lucky to beat them and avoid relegation, but I think they're going down. So Armagh to win by 4 points. Up next we have the Royne 2B clash between Mayo and Donegal. If Mayo win this match, they can avoid relegation. If Donegal win, they'll qualify for the semi-final. So pretty big match for both. Mayo will want to avoid relegation, Donegal will want to make the semi-final. And with the position they're in, I think the advantage is going with Donegal. And I'm going to go with 3 points. I think Mayo might just be able to hold out, but Donegal will get them in the end. So Donegal to win by 3 points. Up next we have the Royne 2B clash between Wicklow and Sligo. And should Wicklow win, they will avoid relegation. If Sligo win, they will qualify for the semi-final. So another game where it really depends on the other game that's out there. So Sligo and Donegal looking to do the same thing. Wicklow and Mayo looking to do the same thing. So with Sligo being in the better position, I think I'm going to go with them. And I'm going to say by 3 points. I think Wicklow are actually above Mayo on the table, so I imagine it'll be quite close. But I'm going to go with Sligo to win by 3 points. Up next we have the Royne 2B clash between Derry and London. If Derry win, they will qualify for the final. And if London win, they will qualify for the semi-final. So Derry, the only one in the position of being able to be in both possible chances of the next round. So either Derry make the final or they make the semi-final. Pretty much guaranteed. So with that, I'm going to go with Derry for this one. And I'm going to say by 2 points. I think London will give it their all, but Derry will manage it in the end. So Derry to win by 2 points. Up next we have the Royne 2A clash between Kildare and Westmeath. Now if Kildare win, they can get 2 possible outcomes. They can avoid relegation and qualify for the semi-final at the exact same time. So they will come out swinging. They will come out swinging for this. And as for Westmeath, if they win, they will qualify for the semi-final. Because as we know, Kerry and Down are practically, one of them is practically guaranteed the final spot. So Westmeath will only get the semi-final. So with that being said, Westmeath are in the better position, but I think this is going to be a close one. So I'm only going to say by 2 points. I still think it's going to be Westmeath, but I think it's going to be a very low score difference. So Westmeath to win by 2 points. Up next we have the Royne 2A clash between Meath and Carlow. Now if Meath win, they can only avoid relegation. They can't make the semi-final. And if Carlow win, they're in the same position as Kildare. They can avoid the relegation and make the semi-final. But that also depends on Kildare and Westmeath's result. Because Carlow aren't exactly, like, only one of the three of them will make it. And it's most likely going to be the winner of Meath or Westmeath and Kildare. Carlow are in a tough position. Now, I'm trying to think if a draw would do them for Westmeath and Kildare. It might, and it might get them. They might get by just the 1 point, but it's not looking good for them. The very least they can do is avoid relegation. So I'm going to give the advantage to Carlow here. I think they're going to be fighting pretty hard to put themselves in a position to qualify. So I'm going to say by 3 points, because I think Meath will put up a fight to avoid relegation. So Carlow to win by 3 points. Up next we have the Royne 1 Group B match between Laois and Dublin. Now, if Laois win this, they can avoid relegation, because they're currently sitting above Antrim, and if they win this, they can keep themselves above Antrim. However, they have the worst score difference. So if they lose and Antrim win, then they go. But they are in the better position that they have the 2 points over Antrim. And as for Dublin, if Dublin win, they can qualify for the semi-final. Now, there's a good chance that Dublin will win this match, but they also have to worry about the Kilkenny match, because Kilkenny can also qualify for the semi-final. So but I do think this is going to go Dublin's way, and based on the way the other teams beat Laois, I imagine Dublin are going to do the same. So I'm going to put it Dublin to win by 10 points. I think they'll really put it up to them, but I think Laois will fight as hard as they can to avoid relegation. But I still think Dublin will do it. So Dublin to win by 10 points. Up next we have the Royne 1 Group B match between Kilkenny and Waterford. Now, a win for both of these would result in them going to the semi-final. Waterford are in the better position, but Kilkenny could surprise them. Now, another thing is, both of them can qualify for the semi-final regardless of the result, should Laois beat Dublin. Because Kilkenny are already sitting above Dublin and Waterford are in first place. So, should Laois beat Dublin, then the result of this match wouldn't matter. So, with that being said, this is a tough one. This could actually end up being I think this is actually going to be a draw. I think this is going to be a draw. And I think it's going to be 120 each. So I think this one is going to be a draw. So that's my prediction. A draw, 120 each. And up next we have the Royne 1 Group B match between Tipperary and Antrim. Now, should Tipperary win? Nothing. Nothing. They are left smack bang in the middle of the table. They're out of it. They're safe enough that they can't be relegated, but they didn't make. They're not going to make the semi-final. Best case scenario, they end up third. And now, if Antrim win, they can avoid relegation, because Antrim have the better score difference than Laois. Meaning, a win for Antrim over Tipperary means they'll go above Laois on the score difference. So, this one is going to be close, I imagine. With how close Antrim have been all season, I think this one will also end up being a draw, just like the last one. And I think it'll end up being 121 to 24 points. So I think it will be a draw. So that's my prediction, a draw. 24 points to 121. Up next we have the Round 1 Group A match between Galway and Clare. Result of this match means absolutely nothing for either team. Neither team can be relegated, neither team can qualify for the semi-final. This one is mostly just about who finishes above who on the table. That's all this one is. Who finishes above who. So this is a hard one to predict. But I do believe Galway are sitting above Clare. So that kind of gives them a small bit of an advantage. So I think I'm going to go with Galway for this one. And it's not going to be by much at all. I'm going to say Galway to win by 2 points. Like, this match means absolutely nothing for the rest of it. It's literally just because we have to play, because we have to play each other. So Galway to win by 2 points. So up next we have the Round 1 Group A match between Limerick and Offaly. Now, a win, both of these teams winning, keeps them out of the relegation playoff. Because if Offaly somehow pull off the miracle and beat Limerick, they'll jump above them. Limerick only have 1 point at the minute. They only have 1 point. Offaly have 0. So a miracle win for Offaly would put them 1 point above Limerick, keep them in the top flight for next season, and send Limerick into the possibility of going down. So I'm definitely rooting for Offaly because I'd like to see them survive. So, however, I think Limerick are just they'll just blow them off the face of the earth. I think it's practically guaranteed that Offaly and either Laois or Antrim will be in the relegation playoff. So I'm going to go with Limerick, and I imagine Limerick will win by quite a bit. I'm going to say Limerick to win by 15 points. I think Offaly might actually if Offaly put up the same kind of fight they put up against Wexford, they can hold them to that 15 points for definite. So Limerick to win by 15 points. And our final game of the weekend is the Round 1 Group A clash between Wexford and Cork. Result of the match means nothing. Both of these teams are already in the semi-final. They both went 4 for 4, and now they have to play each other. This game is just about seeing, will one of them go the entire thing undefeated? This one will mean 5 for 5 out for one of them, and then if that one that wins this wins the semi-final, that's 6 for 6. And if they win the final, 7 for 7. So that's all these two are fighting for, is to see which one of them could possibly go the entire thing undefeated. So this is going to be a very close one. It is hard to say. Cork on an absolute tear. Wexford somehow managing to pull through in every game. Every time they've looked like that they might just lose it, and then somehow they get the score that just helps them to do it. They got that lucky goal against Limerick. They got the 2 lucky goals against Clare. Galway, they also got another 2 lucky goals against. And then Offaly, once they settled in properly, they just slowly pulled away. So with this game, it's hard to say, because Cork just ran away from all the teams. But I think with them being kind of, I suppose, the Cinderella story out of the two of them, I think I'm going to give this one to Wexford. Not by much at all. It's going to be by absolutely fuck all. I think it'll only be by 2 points. I think Wexford are going to win this match. I think with the 4 wins from four, Wexford are they're hungry for this. Like they're I think they're wanting this more than Cork are wanting it. So I'm going to go with Wexford to win by 2 points. So there you have it. Those are my predictions for the final round of the group stages of the Hurling League for this year. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and also check out my football videos. So I will see you for the next one.